When Armor Ainz came in, I had flashbacks of Berserk with that CG look. Brain versus Shell tier. Very excited to see how this technique looked. And yeah, Brain does have a few screw loose, but I am pretty happy for the guy. I mean, he did get to cut her nail. Slipping with the Demi right there. Good thing no one heard that. Aw, Evil Eye, she's trying so hard. She's the one who's gonna be defeated. It's adorbs. Dark Blade Mega Impact. I think the floating swords are cooler than the Dark Mega Blade. Gazef has the 6-fold slash. This is how people die. They come back weaker than ever before and they think they can still go out and fight. Man, Evil Eye got a pretty good show with Alpha and Delta. Don't you just love the nonchalant meeting? Really, Ainz is still the one winning the contest of wits. I'm pretty sure that there was more sentiment associated to Armageddon Evil. I'm pretty sure. Good to see that Ainz is aware of his lack of a heart. I'm also pretty sure Nabe was far away from the situation, not just hiding behind a piece of debris. Heck, I would say she was in a secluded alleyway. I mean, it's kind of ridiculous that you're hiding right next to an active battlefield with a vampire, which I assume has heightened hearing. You know, it might be that I'm remembering something wrong from the light novel, but the anime highlights the ridiculousness of the situation. I think Demiurge had the better showing here, all things considered. Okay, this is cute. This was the cutest thing. Not enough desperation from Hilda. For the record, the one that did things to her was like that one bug man. But yeah, I wanted to see her break more. Kinda, this isn't as satisfying. Leaving Suare with Pestonia is probably the best thing to do because Pestonia probably has her best interests at heart. Is this the season 3 hook? This guy looks like the type of guy you'd love to see crushed underfoot. Yeah, Overlord. So guys, that was the finale. Wow. Hey, it's Tripl-L. Now let's just chat a little bit about Overlord episode 13. I think it was 13. Yes. So that was the finale, like I said. Overall, you know, was it a good enough finale? Yeah, I think so. You know, it's definitely not conventional. I mean, you would think finales are, when it comes to like battle fantasy shows, or the kind of things where you see the characters just facing off against whatever big evil adversary, and really on the surface, that's what you have. You have Momon facing against a really dangerous enemy. If you're Evil Eye and you're seeing this unfold, you're like, oh my god, yeah, this is my story. I am the protagonist of my story and I am witnessing the most incredible thing ever. You know, from her perspective, yeah, it does look like a finale, but you know, just from the perspective of Ainz and everyone else, it's like, this is just a really elaborate hoax. You can't trust anyone in this world. Can't trust anyone at all. So, you know, when it comes to the episode, I think it's definitely a step up from the climax that was Sebas versus Zero. But it's still relatively anticlimactic. Like even the best part, which is, or even I guess the most climactic part, which is Demiurge losing to Ainz, or Demiurge fighting Ainz, I think even to some degree it kind of pales in comparison to the Evil Eye versus the Maids, which is interesting to some degree. Like I didn't find it as impressive, and that just might be because, well, that fight was just never designed to be awesome beyond a certain point. The Evil Eye fights arguably more awesome just because she's taking on two people who are more or less on her level. It makes for a more interesting little affair, while, you know, the Ainz fight is clearly just a stage show. So when it comes to, you know, to that degree, when it comes to like talking about the episode to that degree, you know, it's different. It's a bit different. That said, this is overall a win for the Overlord team. This is overall a win for Nazarick, and yeah, I think it's a neat little finale. Really, there were no stakes going into this once you got past Sebas. This was just pretty much watching our group of ragtag villains. Not really ragtag, they're just hardcore villains. I mean, like, really, they are hardcore villains when you consider they actually did kidnap people. And even Ainz at that one point where he's feeling that he has a heart, you know, even at that one point where he's saying like, yeah, you know what, let's not torture them too much. If they're good people, just kill them straight up. Even just considering that much, yeah, they're really hardcore villains. Like, you consider everything, all things considered. Anyway, the plant went off regardless. Like, you know, we had Demiurge planting evidence to make it a reasonable reason why he was there. And for that sequence, like I mentioned in that little clip reel, I'm pretty sure in the original novel there was maybe a bit more emphasis on it. Like, I think it was dropped because I'm pretty sure Ulbert is Demiurge's creator, and I think Demiurge does have a bit more feeling regarding anything that Ulbert has made, and we know that Ainz also has a bit more feeling regarding the stuff that his friends have made. But you know, my memory's unclear on that, but there was I do think there was a little bit more emotion at play there. Like, you know, there's no need to give away. If there wasn't any emotion, there's no need to give away something so valuable where you can just give away something that's equally as valuable but just not as potent. So I like that Demiurge got to not have to give away the better item, and I'm glad that it still works out to be critical enough of a thing to make everyone in the kingdom believe that shit's gonna be or that this was the thing that they were after. Anyway, ooh, my words, man. So seeing that the characters are just kind of fumbling around, or sorry, that our main characters are just kind of fumbling around and having fun with their elaborate stage play. The ones that really have any weight in their actions when they're like doing things in this episode really are the ones who are interacting with the good side of humans or of the kingdom, and also the people who of the kingdom themselves. And you know, when you look at the episode, you could say like, well, we have Evil Eye. Evil Eye is a principal force in the episode because she's taking things very seriously, and she's also having a lot of the comedy moments associated to her. Suffice to say, I think Evil Eye is the cutest thing ever, and I think that she's hilarious. So she made the episode really light when it came to those final closing moments. And then you have also Brain, who gets to answer one of his big failures from the last season. He gets to answer it here. He gets the nail clipper going. So good for him. So, you know, and it's kind of unfortunate that everyone else is just kind of, you know, nervously giggling at what he's saying, even though he has reason to giggle like that. But I can't stop being happy for the guy. Like, that was good for him, man. Good for him. Anyway, this episode's kind of harder because there's nothing I really find myself all that interested to talk about, because it's a pretty straightforward episode. It's just a wrap up. And so let's just talk like the Overlord season in general. We started with the kingdom, or sorry, we started with the Lizardmen and we ended with the kingdom. Heck, this episode even had a nice callback to the Lizardmen with the frost pain, which was really cool. It was a season of taking over civilizations. You took the Lizardmen and you sort of took the kingdom. Overall, I think it was a very balanced season. The season also had that thematic of the individuality of the NPCs, or the former NPCs. So I think this was a pretty solid season overall. There like really isn't too many things I think went wrong with the season, unless you have a bigger problem with anything in the original light novels. It was balanced, it was effective. If anything, I would have wanted more sequences added to just make things more exciting at some points. But I really can't complain. I think the Overlord adaptations tend to be pretty solid affairs. Oh my god, my phone's just going crazy. You might also have noticed that this season didn't really focus on Ainz too much as it did the other characters. And that's fair. You know, the Nazarick tomb boasts a giant number of characters, so getting more characters fleshed out and, you know, just having how Ainz feels about them also fleshed out, I think it works. Like, when you look at this season, definitely Sebas got a great showing. Demiurge always will get a great showing. To some degree, Cocytus got a great showing, but Demiurge still got a great showing because he was helping Cocytus. Those three guys, for sure, they were great. Climb, Brain on the human side, and of course the princess. They got excellent little demonstrations of who they are as characters that you really can't be too upset with. And, you know, even in this little episode, you got the introduction to Suade, which, if you like the little romance subplot, she's a welcome addition. If you like the romantic comedy, you had Evil Eye introduced into the story. When I think back to who really got me excited to see them in this season, you know, those were the characters that were up there for me. And, you know, it is kind of unfair to call this like a finale for this, considering that Overlord's gonna be back in summer. I probably should have said that at the beginning. Oh, you know what? I'll just put it in the title. But yeah, overall, like, I have no real big discussion to go into. We could talk about things that were missed, like maybe Antoma, she didn't get her antagonism with Evil Eye hyped up enough in this episode, because she really hates Evil Eye at this point. But, you know, all things considered, a solid episode, solid entry, finishes things up, good enough for our purposes. Now the next season, I am definitely not reading any novel. I'm just gonna go into the episode. I'm just gonna enjoy it. It's gonna be fun. I'm really excited for one thing, because I know the first thing that happens is that some of the maids in Nazarick, they get incarcerated because they have a few actions. So that's all I know about the next upcoming season. That said, we ended off with this guy, and man, kind of reminds me like of Gilgamesh, but I want to see him crushed, man. He's the kind of person I want to see crushed. And now I think back to the people that we saw way back when in the first episode. Those people have not been anywhere at all. And I have no idea about who they are, so I'm kind of excited to see where this goes. But anyway, guys, a short video, but that was really just my basic thoughts for the episode. What did you enjoy from this season of Overlord? Obviously, the Kingdom arc I think was the better of the two arcs. I think it had more things, and I personally like a romantic story, so I enjoy it way more. With the romance of Climb and the princess versus the romance of Sebas and Suade. And also look at the princess's face in this. Oh, creepy. You know, there was a lot for me to enjoy this season. Anyway, guys, let's call it there. Till next time, I hope you have a great day.